Well, my next guest on the show needs no introduction. He's an entertainer, performer, he's a crooner, he's a Rat Pack singer, and welcome back to the show. We have the one and only Bill Bennett.
That's very kind of you, Danny. Good morning, and thanks for the call.
Yeah, good morning. And how has life been treating you? It's been 2 years since we last spoke, and good to hear your voice again.
Oh, it's thanks for the invitation to talk to you. I can't believe it's 2 years already. And of course, the last 4 months have been awful for everybody. Mm-hmm. Naturally, like everybody else, all my shows were cancelled. Mm-hmm. I was due an outdoor show in Porthcawl 2 Sundays ago for a big care home. They got large grounds, and then the weather turned awful, so they had to cancel it. Mm-hmm. But we've rehearsed a lot of new songs, and that gives me a chance to learn the words, which is always the worst part about learning new songs.
Yeah. Have you been going Facebook Live as well? That seems to be quite the thing at the moment.
Funny enough, you should say that. In this area of Neath and sort of Port Talbot and not too far from Swansea, all the professional singers who suddenly didn't have their busy days, they all started to do it. Mm-hmm. And one entertainer said, "We don't see you doing what we're doing, Bill." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Well, if you looked back and it proved you weren't watching me, mm-hmm. I was doing half-hour to 45-minute shows through the mobile phone mm-hmm. for Facebook in 2018, 2019, and early 2020. So when the real professionals came along, I thought, well, I'll leave it all to them. And when the lockdown's over and they all go back out mm-hmm. on the road again, I'll return."
Yeah, so you're taking a bit of a welcome break at the moment. And yeah, Bill, I remember you are the trailblazer for the Facebook Live performances, because you had your YouTube channel and you were doing it every day, weren't you? I do remember watching all your lives a couple of years back as well.
Yes. The man who introduced me to that was the Elvis from York, Eddie V.
Oh, I know him, yes.
Bless him. He does about an hour and a half every day.
Yeah, and he does it just for the pure enjoyment, just for the...
He does, yes, and he gets a big following, which is nice, and he sings a bit of everything apart from his Elvis stuff.
Okay. And
but he's the one who introduced me. He said, "Bill, why don't you get out there with your crooning voice?" And that's why I started to do it 2.5 years ago.
And where you're from, you're living in Wales at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, you probably know I was born in Ireland, lived in Liverpool for many years, then we lived in Deal, Kent, and we've been in Neath, South Wales for 20 years now.
So you could say you got the world beneath your feet.
Yeah, I've travelled a bit. When I was in the RAF, I saw Germany, Holland, Cyprus, Aden, El Adam. So I travelled, I saw a bit of the world even then, in my RAF days.
Yeah. And do you think travel does broaden the mind? Does it make you wiser, see the world in a different way, the way you go around the world, visiting different cultures, countries?
It's fantastic to see exactly what you said. The only thing is, the danger now is, mm-hmm. with some of these countries still having problem, I hope people are not going to fly as regularly as they did.
Yeah. So stay safe, Bill. Stay safe.
It's a danger, isn't it, still?
Yeah. And
to see the beaches crowded the other week, and now all the pubs, they're creating their own problems.
Yeah,
but
sure.
There we are.
Yeah, so moving on. Wales, it's introduced us to some of the greats, Tom Jones and David Alexander. He doesn't really get a mention these days.
How sad. There's a little story about him. When we first moved to Wales, we lived near Llanelli, the rugby-playing town. And we went into the local market, and this voice was booming over the speaker system in the Llanelli market. Mm-hmm. And I eventually found the CD stall, and the fella had a lot in common with me, both Liverpool supporters, so we had a good chat. And I said, "Who is that guy with that fantastic voice?" He said, "David Alexander." Mm-hmm. And he had just died not many years before then. But, oh, what a voice. Yeah. He was a big star, a bit like sort of Des O'Connor and Charlie Lansborough, who are stars, but not found by everybody.
Yes. He had hits like The Working Man as well, a cover version.
Oh, it's a legend. Yeah. Legend of a song.
And you mentioned Liverpool as well. Are you elated that they're top of the bill at the moment, top of the league?
Them. Well, we've waited a long time. I can remember the days when Bob Paisley, one of our former managers, said, "Drat, we're second, and that is failure," because they won it so many times in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and into the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, they deserve it. They've played fantastic football.
Yeah.
They really have.
And is that in your repertoire, the You'll Never Walk Alone?
Well, funny enough, I've just recorded it. Would you believe it's not an easy song to sing? I had to have it lowered a register or two, but what I did, when I got to the very high part in the middle of it, I thought I would do an ad-lib of a talk about Liverpool and the tragedies and this difficult time, and I must send you a copy on email, because I've done it so different to anybody else.
Yes, please do. We'll look forward to that one in good time. And
it's not on YouTube yet, but it will be about within a week, I think.
Cool. And you have 2 new singles out. So you got Come Next Year, and If Tomorrow Never Comes, we'll be playing one of either of them on the shows.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Come Next Year. Hopefully next year will be a different story altogether, hopefully.
I hope it will be for everybody, because this is, I mean, Margaret and I, luckily we had her daughter and son-in-law. They did the main shop when we couldn't go out, and then we had some delivered from Morrison's. But now we can go. We've got a good local shop a mile away that sell everything, and they've done it out so safely for us, so we don't have to travel too far to get 80% of the food.
That's good. And Bill, thank you very much for your time again, and enjoy your welcome break, and we look forward to seeing you get back into the rhythm of things in the very near future.
Danny, it's very kind of you, and you be safe as well.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks, Bill, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.